Greetings and welcome to Sanctuary. Today we're talking about something interesting because the game has been about for 7 days and we have so many druid builds. And yet, I haven't seen two specific skills to be used in almost any competitive build. I wanted to talk about it. Also, I wanted to ask you guys if you have seen them being used anywhere, so you can let me know and I can check it out and eventually try to build upon, because I really want to experiment with those two skills. Now, I'm not talking about any of the basic skills because I've seen them being used in a lot of builds. All of those skills are being used, so it's none of those. It's none of the core skills. The core skills of the druid are quite good actually. The lightning storm is being used. I used it myself in the beginning, level 1 to 60. It was pretty cool. Definitely loved it. We have the tornado build. They're super popular now. We have the pulverize. No introduction here. We have the shred. We have the landslide. All of those skills are being actively used. Now the same applies to the defensive skills. We have the debilitating roll. Pretty good. We have blood hole. We have cyclone armor, and we have bulwark. All of those skills are seen in a lot of builds. Companions, especially the poison creeper, pretty cool. And we reach this part of the skill tree. Now, trample is something that's being used a lot. Definitely, this is a skill that many builds use. The same applies, actually not that much to rabbits, but still I've seen it being used as well. However, I have never seen a competitive build for druid that uses boulder, and that's the thing I wanted to talk about. Now, why boulder is never being used? Quite frankly, I don't know. Now, the thing with boulder is that it has a narrow, really, let's say, a range. So it's not really, you throw a boulder and you imagine that it's going to pull all monsters together, but actually it doesn't. It have really narrow range. Probably this is one of the reasons that nobody uses it. And the second one, of course, it's not really that great against bosses. That's not a big deal. It can save you actually some time if you want to stagger the boss, but in majority of cases, especially if fighting weak bosses, let's say you're not pushing nightmare dungeons, the bosses die quite quickly, so that's not really a big deal. However, I do believe that the narrow range of the boulder actually is. And on top of everything, it doesn't really work in any build. Quite frankly, it doesn't. When I used to use this skill in the early stages of the game, I say up to level 30, I use it so that I can push enemies away and I can snipe them with lightning storm in the process. So in a way, I'm keeping my enemies away using boulder, and then I snipe them with lightning storm. However, late game I stopped using it. It's not really that effective. It doesn't deal a lot of damage at the same time, even though there are ways to make sure that boulder is for free. For instance, you can use where is my ring? I had a ring. I don't think it's in my inventory. Anyways, or is this one? Yeah, exactly. So you can use Hunter's Zenith, so you can make sure that boulder is for free. You kill some monster with shred or any werewolf skill, and then you can use boulder for free without cooldown, so you can spam it. But even then, I tested it, and even then it feels underwhelming. So again, I would really appreciate if you give me a build, or and if you have seen anybody using boulder in a build that actually works late game, 75 plus, and whether this ability will ever be useful in any build according to you. I would really appreciate that. The second skill I want to talk about is in the ultimate sections, and it's not Petrify. I actually myself use Petrify quite a lot, and it's very fun ability. However, you have to be really careful when you use it, because if you use it, let's say in vain, then you are in a lot of trouble if you don't have any ways to escape CC stuff like this. The Greasy Rage is extremely popular skill. Almost everybody uses it late game for druid, especially if you're running wolf or bear. You need this unstoppable effect. It's very important. The Cataclysm also extremely good skill with a very huge hit chance. Look at it, 72%. So definitely a lot of people actually are using it, especially lightning builds. However, the skill I'm talking about is Lacerate. It is extremely underwhelming skill. I tested it myself multiple times. Now the thing is, this skill doesn't really do a lot of damage. It simply doesn't. And the only place where I've seen somebody using Lacerate is in PvP. However, even then you can simply basically avoid it by simple evade, and that's it. So who and why is using Lacerate? Have you seen it in any build? I just want to know, because I tested it multiple times. I tried to make it work, but the thing is, the only place where it actually works is to make me, let's say if I'm CC'd and I want to, let's say, I want to spend some time while my cooldowns are off this is the way I'll be using Lacerate, because the damage is underwhelming. Seriously, it's underwhelming. It doesn't do anything good. Let me quickly demonstrate. I'm going to remove the points from Greasy Rage. I'm going to put some points in Lacerate, and we're going for a walk just to demonstrate how underwhelming this skill is. Probably I'm missing something, so again, please let me know in the comments if you have ever seen this skill being used anywhere. I'm talking about late game, of course. I'm not talking about early game and stuff like this. So I'm going to activate it now. Look at this. This is an ultimate, and it cannot even clear a pack of regular monsters in the open world that are actually level 76, one level below me. And that's my ultimate ability. I kind of understand if they created this ability so that it's not really the ultimate damaging skill, but it's more like a support skill that makes you immune and buys you some time. But if this is the case, it has a huge cooldown. So the thing that they can do is to greatly reduce the cooldown, because it's 45 seconds. It's a lot. It is true that it has the lowest cooldown compared to all the others, but still it has huge. It's 45 seconds and it lasts for about 5 seconds or something. So in a way, let's test it once again. So in a way, it's like 40 seconds you're waiting for something to do extremely low damage. It heals you in the process, but it's not. Let me see whether it's going to kill those two. Yeah, of course it killed them. That's good. Yeah, it lasts for like nothing, 5 seconds or something. So yeah, underwhelming skill. Why would you use that late game when you can use, for instance, the Greasy Rage, which is going to give you immunity for a lot of time, probably for 25 to 30 seconds. And on top of everything, you can work on reducing the cooldown of Greasy Rage so that at the end of the day, you can have it almost for free, like almost like without cooldown, which is pretty cool. I'm going to make a video about it in a couple of days, how you can make sure that your Greasy Rage has almost no cooldown. It's pretty cool, so in a way you can always use it in your build. So this is all I wanted to share with you guys. Again, I searched a lot of builds. I never saw a competitive build that uses Boulder and Lacerate. I wanted to check with you whether you have seen one or whether you're using it and it works for you, because I would really want to make a video on the guide, the build that revolves around Boulder and Lacerate, and I really want to make this build work. So far, I tried multiple ones and I failed. So again, please let me know whether you've seen or whether you're using those two skills and how do they work for you. And see you next time. Take care.
Perfect.